Is it possible for a child to vanish while her parents sit just 180 feet away, checking every half hour? In May 2007, 3-year-old Madeleine McCann disappeared from a holiday apartment in Portugal. Despite massive searches, international attention, and nearly 2 decades of investigation, no one has ever proven what happened to her. And what makes this case so unsettling is not just that she vanished, but how many opportunities there were to stop it. A normal holiday, until it wasn't. On May 3, 2007, Madeleine Beth McCann was on holiday with her family in Praia da Luz, a quiet resort town in Portugal's Algarve region. She was staying with her parents, Gary and Kate McCann, and her 2-year-old twin siblings in a ground-floor apartment at the Ocean Club Resort. That evening, the McCanns and a group of friends went to dinner at a tapas restaurant inside the resort. Close enough, they believed, to safely check on their children throughout the night. The plan seemed simple. The children were put to bed. The adults would check on them regularly. Nothing about the evening suggested it would become one of the most infamous missing person cases in history. The moment everything changed. At around 10 p.m., Kate McCann returned to the apartment to check on the children. Madeleine was gone. Her bed was empty. The bedroom window and shutters were open. In that instant, a family holiday turned into a nightmare, and the clock on one of the most complex investigations in modern history began ticking. But what happened in the hours that followed would later raise serious questions about how the case unfolded, the first hours, and the first mistakes. An alarm was raised immediately. Resort staff and guests began searching the area. Portuguese police were notified. At first, investigators hoped Madeleine had wandered off and would be found nearby. But as time passed, that hope faded. Borders across Europe remained open. Detailed descriptions were not immediately circulated. Critical early hours slipped away, and those early delays may have shaped everything that came next. A case the world couldn't look away from. As the search expanded, global attention followed. Madeleine's disappearance quickly became what many would later call the most heavily reported missing person case in modern history. Celebrities appealed for information. Donations poured in. The McCann family traveled internationally, pleading for help. But with attention came pressure. And with pressure came scrutiny. Before investigators had answers, the public began asking questions of its own. When the focus shifted. By September 2007, Portuguese authorities named Gary and Kate McCann as formal suspects, known under Portuguese law as arguidos. The decision followed months of speculation about what might have happened inside the apartment. Some reports claimed forensic traces had been found. Others suggested inconsistencies in timelines. But much of this evidence was later described as inconclusive or disputed. Still, the damage was done. At this point, the case was no longer just about finding Madeleine. It was about assigning blame. An investigator that lost direction. The McCanns denied all allegations and refused to answer certain police questions on legal advice. Public trust fractured. Media narratives hardened. And the investigation stalled. In July 2008, Portuguese authorities officially closed the case, stating there was insufficient evidence to charge anyone. The McCann suspect status was lifted. Thousands of pages of files were released, but none provided a clear answer to the central question, what happened to Madeleine McCann? A controversial theory and a legal battle. Around the same time, a former lead investigator published a book claiming Madeleine had died in the apartment and that her parents had staged an abduction. The McCanns sued for defamation. Years of legal battles followed, further dividing public opinion and deepening the controversy surrounding the case. By this point, the truth felt more distant than ever. The case refused to die. Instead of fading away, the investigation entered a new phase. In 2011, British police launched Operation Grange, opening the case as a missing person inquiry. Investigators pursued new leads, reviewed old evidence, and followed tips from around the world. Most went nowhere, but the case remained open. And then, more than a decade later, a new country changed everything. A new prime suspect. In 2020, German authorities announced they were investigating a man who had lived in the Algarve at the time of Madeleine's disappearance. Prosecutors stated they believed Madeleine was deceased and that this individual was involved. But crucially, no charges were filed. As of early 2025, German authorities have acknowledged there is no immediate prospect of an indictment. Once again, the case moved forward without resolution. Searches, hope, and nothing found. Nearly 2 decades after Madeleine vanished, joint searches resumed in Portugal. Drones, ground-penetrating radar, abandoned buildings, and scrubland. Nothing conclusively linked to Madeleine was discovered. Each search reignited hope, and each one ended the same way. A case that still won't let go. Over the years, false claims and hoaxes emerged, including individuals alleging they were Madeleine. None were substantiated. The McCann family continues to live with uncertainty. No closure, no answers, and no proof of what truly happened. Why this case still haunts us. The mystery of Madeleine McCann is not just about a missing child. It's about timing, decisions, lost chances. Despite unprecedented attention, international cooperation, and modern investigative tools, the truth remains out of reach. And after all this time, the most unsettling question remains: was the answer missed in the very first hours, or is it still hidden, waiting to be uncovered? Let us know your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more deep dives into cases that refuse to be forgotten.